All right, friends, let's do it. Let's break down a little Brickyard, little IRP. First off, got an empty seat next to me. You are currently in New Jersey. My co-host Ryan Flores.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
How's it going up there, buddy? What are you doing in Jersey this week?
I'm taking full advantage of this partial retirement that I'm under. And came up yesterday and just hanging out on the shore. My kid's going to race her quarter midget a little bit. I'm going to race at Wall Stadium on Saturday night. Hanging out, man. I'm a beach kid. I want to be at the beach.
Are you you're wearing some wired ear there's a big debate. Wired or wireless AirPods. Are you a wired, like Aaron Rodgers, wired guy?
I am wired, but not because of Bluetooth and all that. Because the other day, I lose my wireless ones. They fall out of my ear. I lose them on the plane. And the other day, I was Cerakoting some stuff at Powder Coat Shop, and mine fell to the bottom of the garbage can. I just left it there. It was like full of garbage and dip spit and all the stuff that dudes. I just left it there, and I went and bought a pair of wired headphones, and I'm done trying to keep track of those things, dude.
I'll tell you, if like a long flight, I do notice a difference. This might be weird, and this might be my own perception. When I watch a couple movies on like a West Coast flight, if I'm wearing wired earphones, I feel better than wireless earphones. Maybe that's just
my ears get hot. Like, it's like weird.
Yeah, because it's sending microwaves into your brain. So I see you, health conscious. Well, I miss you in here, buddy, but we're gonna be stacking some pennies. I can't believe Corey. I can believe Corey Heim. We all know what his potential is behind the wheel, and also how fast the vehicles he's sitting in with 2311. I did not have him winning San Diego and Brickyard on my bingo card. What stood out to you about him this weekend?
The biggest thing that stood out, well, first they got to the lead, but then the biggest thing that stood out is that he had the mental toughness to stay there with Chris Bell. I know it's hard to pass. His car obviously wasn't really great, and we'll cover this a bunch. But just to be able to execute like that, the biggest thing to me, it's a gift and a curse, is that a part-time team can have so much success in those big races. Like, when you look at the schedule at the beginning of the year, you look at the Daytona 500, you look at the Southern 500, you look at the Coke 600, Indy, and then you look at that San Diego race as like big ones that you want to win. The San Diego race isn't a crown jewel, but it's one of the biggest events of our year, probably the second biggest event of our year.
It had the excitement. It had the excitement, the energy of a crown jewel for sure. Comparable energy. Now, I think Kyle Petty had an interesting take this week about the Brickyard 400, that you can't come along in the 90s and be a crown jewel. That's an arguable take, and I kind of lean towards Kyle Petty, I'll be honest with you. But I could see in 1994 when there's 400,000 people there and they actually have to stop selling tickets to the NASCAR race because they didn't want to have more fans at the NASCAR race than were at the Indy 500. But I think for me, there's all the stuff we can talk about. IRP, we're going to talk about Indy, the Brickyard, breaking all that stuff down. Jimmie Johnson here later in the show. But what stood out to me, had the fans riled up this week, was Scott Dixon, our Jimmie Johnson, or IndyCar's Jimmie Johnson, if you will, the greatest of all time, says at Nashville, kind of like an offhanded comment, and I don't think he meant anything negative by it, but it got a lot of traction. And I don't have any quotes here, but he essentially says the length of a NASCAR race is good for a nap. And I got to be honest, I kind of agree.
Would you like to see race distance more often?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I find it really hard to watch a cup race these days, so yeah.
It's fascinating.
It allows for a nap, so maybe that's good, I don't know.
I love
It's a NAS nap.
It's a NAS nap. However you want to call it. Some of my best naps are taken between halfway through stage 2 and wake up about right after the last green flag pit stop, and you catch the end of the race. There's
a lot of juice
just
to this argument,
yes.
man. And it's gotten like, I've seen Gluck, I've seen everybody on this. I saw Glarson was like, it's too long, right?
Dude, it gets so misconstrued, especially people want to take Larson's comments out of context, right? Then you got Gluck sticking up for his out of context takes. I don't even know where to begin.
I love the fact that people are like, well, Larson has a sprint car series and they're only 40 laps. It's like, hold on, their whole program isn't just a 40-lap race. Like, it starts with qualifying. There's B mains and dashes. Like, the
races,
whole
yeah.
program is 3.5 hours. I think when you look at, and we can jump right into it, right? I think Pete Pistone had a great tweet, and I pulled it up because our races, the Cup races, are 3 hours and 14 minutes on average from 2025. MLB 2 hours 38 minutes, NBA 2 hours 30 minutes, NHL 2:35, NFL games 3 hours and 12 minutes, college basketball 2 hours 15 minutes, college football 3 hours 26 minutes. It's a little bit longer than the average on them, but you got to factor in like that average is the Coke 600. That's cautions. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know. Like, there's some races like yesterday, you could probably cut 20 laps off of that and had the same exact product. But like, for me,
You can't go look back like post-mortem and say that race needs to be 40 laps less. That race needs to be 20 laps more. That's what the fans do, right? They want to go back and hyper-criticize. This is too long. That's too short. This guy wants to go home early and keep the same amount of race, and this fan buys a ticket. I buy a ticket for this amount of action. Don't take this amount away or give it to me prorated. What are we even talking about? What we're talking about is this. There's a lot of fat we could trim in caution laps, stage breaks. A lot of times you can't. Somebody has an oil line fall off and oil's tracked down. Sure, we're going to be sitting under red for a long time, kind of like we were in the truck race at IRP. But yes, could we all trim a little bit of fat, run less caution laps, run some more quickie yellow so all the cars pit the same lap all the time? Yes, probably so. But there's certain races where I would say maybe collectively we could probably trim, 100 miles off of some certain races. And there's some races I could even argue we need to add some miles to it. Why don't we need to add some miles?
Well, for like the O'Reilly race, right? You get 3 sets of tires this week, Saturday O'Reilly race, Sunday Cup race. You get 3 sets of tires. You were in your fuel window after the second stage, and there's no strategy that goes into the end of it. You need a Cup race for the whole thing to play out. The strategy for the O'Reilly race was cut and dry. You pit at the end of the first stage, you pit at the end of the second stage, and if no caution comes out, you run until the end.
Yep.
Yesterday, because of the length of it, it got all shaken up because of strategies. And then Booty Barker pitted at the right time. The caution came out. He's in the front, and he out-strategized everybody else and got him and then Corey Heim executed on that late race restart. But for a Cup race to be interesting, you have to have it play out through all the pit cycles and all the restarts. And what those pit cycles and restarts are opportunities for your teams and your drivers to be better. So in order to win a Cup race, you have to give your competition more or less or more opportunities to be better and worse than somebody else. And that is how you get the winner, right? In a O'Reilly race, you have less opportunity for that unless you have a bunch of cautions and a bunch of restarts. But I would say, okay, if you wanted to take 100 miles off of the race, go to 10-gallon fuel cells and go to softer tires. So you have to do more pit stops, because if you go to a 2 or 3 pit stop, like F1 races are boring AF.
Boring.
And like
they're done in an hour
IndyCar
45.
races are good on ovals, Scott Dixon, because you're scared to death that a car is going to fly over the grandstands, so you can't stop, you can't look away. Right. But like the road course stuff, I don't even take a nap during them because I just turn them off. They're just not super interesting to me, unfortunately. Not to be like brutal on it, but they just don't catch my attention. I think NASCAR is a great product, and you can pick and choose what's too long, what's too short. But
if you talk to 12 people, 6 are going to tell you that they're perfect length. 6 are going to tell you make them shorter, and then there's some people that just don't like it in general and they just want to bitch. But you just said it. A Cup race should present you the opportunities for mixed strategy, and also the length of these races back to the World 600, Daytona 500, Talladega. All these races is a test of man versus machine. It was your physical and mental stamina versus how long your engine could hold up, right? Or how long your tires could stay pointing in the right direction. When Ned Jarrett wins the Southern 500 by 14 laps, like that's a race. That's a car race. Imagine if somebody won by 14 laps now. People would be losing their minds. But we look back and fantasize about those good old days, and yet all it is now is there's the quality of mechanics and drivers and overall builds of the cars and the parts and pieces are much more superior. So the racing product itself has evolved and developed. I think Cup races length are right. I think we need to make a Daytona 1000. That's my take, but we'll talk about that in the future when you're back here, and so we can argue that. I think we should make a 6-stage Daytona 1000, like a Bathurst 1000. Let's do it.
Anybody that thinks that races are too long now, they didn't have to do 2 Poconos a month apart from each other at 500 miles each, like 15 years ago. Those races were too long. We made steps in the right directions.
Well, the arguments are circular, right? Those races are too short. Then we shorten them up, and they're good for about a year and a half. Oh, why are the races so short? I'm not getting the value for my money wanting to go here all weekend. And another thing, too, that was just random that was brought up this week, more practice time. Sure, but why do people care so much? Let them go. Yes, they should practice more. Yes, they should have 2 sets of tires. Yes, when like Connor Zilic, for example, right, comes in and is having the worst rookie season of all time, has no opportunity to really get himself out of the metric hole to go qualify better because he's buried in points, but he's seen these racetracks for the first time. So, yes, give him practice, but why are we all up and up? People are just – I don't know why people are so fired up. One little change, and people want to interject their opinion on if it's better or worse. Talk about interjecting opinion. Let's talk about Layne Riggs, because that 34 truck was on rails at IRP. We can break down a little IRP action with the truck series coming up right after this. We'll break down Riggs. We'll break down the Mopar. I don't know what you want to call that. We were out there. We weren't really racing, but we're going to break that down. Our trials and tribulations there with that Ram team coming up right after this. Okay, we're back. Let's just go ahead and fire up some free agency chatter. Silly season's already begun. We saw this week Alex Bowman announcing his retirement, not for next year, for the following year, which is a unique play, I thought, from Hendrick Motorsports. One, to just quiet the noise. Everybody's always asking because, yes, behind the scenes, there have been several conversations, right? Even my teammate, and this might be too soon, but like Justin Haley was a candidate for the 48 a couple years ago. That might be breaking news, but like there were conversations being had. So there's still, and there's always been for the last several years, Alex, his body's beat up. Right, he's had a couple concussions, right? He's been outspoken in the media about that. But I like the fact that Hendrick has been very loyal to Alex. Alex is a very good race car driver. It's nice to see him go out on his own terms, if you will. And now it presents interesting issue, right? You've got Corey Day. How much more does he have to prove on Saturdays to be able to get the nod to drive that 48 or the 4th car, whatever number that might be, for Hendrick Motorsports? I know you're kind of in the trenches with most of those Xfinity guys or O'Reilly guys, Ryan, at Hendrick Motorsports, but a lot of chatter around Connor Zilic in the 48 too. So there's a lot of new talent available, and really and truly, Rick Hendrick can go, as he always has, get whoever he wants at any given moment. And I think we're going to see Hendrick probably make a play for somebody that he really wants. What do you make of all that silly season chatter this far?
Well, first and foremost, I'm happy for Alex. I see Alex 2-3 times a week in the gym and through his recovery with our, athletic trainers and everybody at Atrium at Hendrick. It was really scary for Alex when he's, if you know Alex, his personality is like
nonchalant,
a dry smart ass, right? So I appreciate that because that's kind of my personality as well. And I've been friends with Alex a long time. But underneath that kind of like funniness, you could tell that it was scary what happened at Coda. And this the stuff he's been through. Like
the vertigo stuff.
The vertigo stuff. He's broken his back in a sprint car. The race car's bitten him. And, we talk about it on here a lot. Cup racing's 8 days a week. And through everything he's been through, I think he's seen clearly. He's getting married. He wants to start a family. He just built a house. Like, he's financially set from racing cup cars. And instead of just chasing it and just staying in the grind, he's like, hey, man, look, I'm not going to try to chase this and go somewhere else. My runway is done here. I'm gonna ride off in the sunset.
Well, let's talk about the improbability of Bowman's career. Right, he literally had a NASCAR Thunder career mode career. You know,
The best highlight of his whole career was when the fireman fell out of the fire truck
driving for Tommy
La-
Baldwin in
at
New
Loudon
Hampshire. Yeah,
Until he went and won that O'Reilly race for juniors, and then it just worked out where he was the next guy up to go in the '88 when Dale Jr. retired.
and he has the natural speed, right? He has the demeanor of a professional that Hendrick certainly looks for when they were choosing guys. He got fired from Tommy Baldwin's, right? So that's just another example again of you could have a decade-long Hendrick career, and if you're not in the right system, it's not going to work no matter how good you are, right? Look at back to Connor Zilic, right? Whatever the reasons might be, internally, externally, slow cars, confidence, whatever, bad luck, whatever you wanted to chalk it up to, you can be the number 1 overall draft pick drafted to the Browns, and your career's not going to go how it would be if you get drafted to the Andy Reid Chiefs, right? That's just how this deal goes.
You can get, you're number 1 draft pick, and then all of a sudden in the Cup Series, you find yourself getting run into by Noah Gragson under caution racing for 33rd and 34th.
Yes.
Like, what the fudge were those guys doing yesterday? And yes, timing is all about timing is everything.
Executing when
in
the timing is
sports
right. Yes.
And in racing especially. And the timing is the hardest because even if you get with the right team, you don't have the right crew chief that works with you. That's what Rick Hendrick has been so great at doing, of putting the right people in the right places to let them be successful. And look, Alex had a successful Cup career.
Of course.
Hopefully he can win 2 more races and get the double-digit Cup wins and be in the playoffs. Obviously, this year's been dismal. But, hey, one quick thing. I saw yesterday in the pre-race that Jimmie Johnson's going to run his last race, Daytona 500, and Rick Hendrick's going to let him run the 48 on that car.
Well, remember when he was here earlier in the year, Jimmy, and he was talking about, we asked him, like, hey, you guys have a third charter. They're kicking around with numbers that's going to be, right? I think he mentioned that the third charter might be number 84. That's not firmed up. Who knows what that is? But teams have to submit number reservations, right? Every year, Hendrick reserves probably 6 numbers. I don't know what it is, right? There's a list, though. Like Hendrick, they register and they keep more numbers than what they run, right? In case they want to swap one, sponsors this, drivers that. So it's very unique, though, where you see a car number that's passed along to a different team. This is a very unique circumstance. Jimmie Johnson is the 48. Jimmie Johnson made the 48 what it is. Because when he was a rookie, that 48 wasn't a Hendrick number. They essentially doubled the 24 because Jimmie Johnson or Jeff Gordon was half owner. He might have been the full owner of that 48 car, so that just made sense. Then he made it what it was, 7-time champ. So it gives me the warm and fuzzies to see.
Yeah,
Rick
48's not a cool number without Jimmie Johnson.
It's just not it's not aesthetically pleasing, but it is the best number in the history of NASCAR racing. So for Jimmie to close out his NASCAR chapter, it just feels right. Because he mentioned 13 on our show. He was like, yeah, we're looking at number 13. And it's like, cool, man. Yeah, cool, man. Sure.
So my wife asked the question, though, like, she goes, well, what number is Bowman going to run? And I was like, man, I don't know. I think it's got to be 25.
I don't know. What if we just threw out a potential? Hey, Rick, I know you're listening to this. What about 25 is the low-hang easy number, right? That was Rick Hendrick's, besides Jeff Bodine in the 5, right? The Levi Garrett car.
Well, they already have the 5.
The 25 Folgers, Tim Richmond car is synonymous to Rick Hendrick. Don't do that one, because we have seen now, and you are pretty close to this fire. I'm on the fringe of this fire. Days of Thunder 2. Okay, there is some motion starting to happen. Right, they've talked to Cole Trickle. They have got a script nailed down. They have a director nailed down. It's happening. Why doesn't why don't we go full City Chevrolet 46 on Alex Bowman's car for Daytona?
Dude, that would be sick. I didn't even think about that. That's what they need to do. That, and
Yeah,
that's why
neon green.
Rick's playing chess, not checkers. That's why he's like, yeah, take the 48 for one. I actually got an idea.
I got an idea. We're gonna sell $1 billion in merch, guys.
Oh, I would buy a good
All of
amount
it.
of merchandise.
All
right
of
now.
it. Imagine how many diecast cars that would sell. The
Yeah, I'd
46
probably buy
shitty
one of them too.
City Chevrolet, Ally, Camaro for the Daytona 500, and just leave it 46. I don't know. Who cares? It's Rick. He can do
That'd
what he
be
wants
cool.
to. That would be interesting. That is my take. Tell me what you guys think on that. But I think that would be pretty sick. And we've talked about here, and we're going to talk about it again, because I feel very strongly about. I love now. Granted, drivers in F1 aren't really synonymous with their numbers to an extent, right? I know that George Russell is 63 because that's kind of like his little logo, right? Lando Norris is 4 if he isn't the world champion carrying the 1, right? I know, like you start to like associate numbers. Danny Ricciardo number 3, now Max Verstappen. I would love to make a pitch to NASCAR. It'd be probably a pitch more to the teams than it would be to NASCAR. When you come in, like you can pick a number that's not taken, and you get to take that team to team. Now, there's a big argument, right? Teams have a lot of money tied up in branding and legacy and all this stuff, but I think that number branding with in particularly NASCAR, because the signage.
You fucking drivers don't get that.
You should.
I don't
You
think.
should.
No way, because.
Look, it's working
like,
for it works for SVG, right? If a
it
team
worked for SVG. I think it's unique, but
Of
like when
course.
you get dubbed to drive, like when William Byron got dubbed to drive the 24, like that's like, hey, you get. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some where like teams.
Look at
and
Corey Heim,
numbers-
right? I would be upset if 2311 changes his number to 35 next year. He is the
Yeah, he needs to be
6'7".
67. I was thinking that yesterday. I was
like,
like, he
that's
needs to stay
his.
in the 67.
And also, I didn't even realize this until somebody pointed it out, that when you line up all 2311's numbers, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is the reason why they did
not
that.
know that. That's funny.
That's interesting. So, yeah. So whether that was by choice, whether that was by design, sure it was by design. Like Corey Heim now, 67's his number. Don't change it.
Yeah, I guess I mean, I think, like, I like the 9. Like, I think about the 9.
That's
'cause that
Chase
was an
Elliott's
Elliott
number, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So like NFL, right? When a quarterback, if Pat Mahomes left the Chiefs and went to the Panthers, he's not going to be having to take 10 because like you give the guy coming in his number that he has built a brand for himself.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bad pitch, but like
No.
that you buy a Panthers jersey number 15, Patrick Mahomes, because 15 is Pat's number. Corey, now that drivers don't change teams as often as football players do, but that's my
I would
pitch.
say
don't
that
even
the
know how you
number
start it.
in racing is more important
Yes.
than football. Like what? I don't know. Like
I think the one should be
everything I've
reserved for
branded-
the champ.
everything I've ever branded for like my short track stuff, obviously different level, but like all these corny like of like your initials that everybody makes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just putting a 15. Like everything is my same 15, and I like there was marketing classes that a couple of my friends took in like motorsports marketing, and it's like your number in racing or like that's your brand.
Yeah.
So be consistent with your number forever. And like I've always done that. Like I just put a 15 on everything. And now when you see that, like if you're a short track race, you know it's my stuff. White
Yes.
15. So like I don't know, like the 01 or the 7, like the 07, like when you look at certain stuff, you know who it is.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple numbers like that, especially in short track racing. What's I
Well,
don't know,
you
what's your
think of 26 on a super late model. Who's that?
Bubba Pollard,
Right?
Yeah.
You think about 1 on a modified. Who's that?
Yeah, I think the most famous one's probably Bloomquist, right?
Yes.
Yeah, or Burt Myers with the 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
So numbers become
Your identity.
your personality, your identity. Yeah.
Because you go to a team, like, for example, and we'll shift gears here after this. For example, I would almost have liked to seen when Daniel Suarez leaves Trackhouse, take the 99 with him. Like, I just thought that Daniel Suarez kind of like is a 99 guy. Maybe he wants to forget the memory altogether and start fresh. That's up to him, right? I think that the drivers and the team should work together to establish better branding around the number and the driver. That's my
Yeah, but
case.
then if you go to Spire, right, every one of those is 7, 77,
Yes.
71, so they're
It's
all
all
branded
synonymous,
together.
right.
So it's like, yeah. I think it's unique, and I think the way they do it, like, I think it gets cool. Like, what they did with SVG and his number reveal this year and all that, and, like, what they did with giving Austin Dillon the 3 car because it was his father's number. Obviously, Dale drove it. Like, that was a big deal. So, I don't know.
I don't know either. I do one last thing on numbers, then we'll move on. The 1 should be reserved as an opportunity for the reigning champ to run. Sorry, nothing against
That's
Ross,
Sorry,
right?
Ross.
Or Charlie. It's just the number itself. Like the 1 played in Supercross, right? The one number. When you are number 1, like that's the target that you have earned on your back that people are coming after.
Remember when we raced Summer Shootout and the points leader would have to have a flag
Where it
on
had
their
the
car?
flag, the
That's
points
what they
leader,
did.
yeah,
They
the
put a
orange
flag on
flag. I did think about this actually for a short track, right? Even IRP this past weekend, or Wilkesboro Cup racing. This might be stupid, but IMSA cars have lights on their quarter windows or wherever, somewhere on the car, to
Yeah, they light
signify
up.
the leader.
Yeah.
Like when you're in the middle of a green flag pit cycle at Wilkesboro, you don't know who's leading the race. I think we should have something that signifies the leader, because the leader was actually at IRP very clearly the 34 truck. Layne Riggs is, I've said it here before, I'll say it again, he is a Sunday ready guy. They certainly have a good foundation built front row. They build their own trucks. Dillon Kvapil, he's a super late model guy. He crew chiefs the 34, so they got a really good thing going. They are exceptionally fast. Their trucks are good, and we are continuing to struggle, particularly at short tracks. We haven't really made any gains at that. We were terrible at Wilkesboro. We followed that up with a terrible run at IRP. Now we're going a couple weeks off. There's some new trucks coming in the door. We can at least start to build the truck somewhat the same as we start to get one new truck per team. I think the new trucks are obviously going to go to the 2 guys that have been running full time between Justin and Brendan Queen, who might have Brandon Edward Lightning McQueen have the chance to get into maybe make a chase run. Doubtful, but those guys are going to get the first trucks first, as they should.
Yeah, no doubtably a couple cuff weeks for the Rams, but what is it about these guys coming straight out of trucks to Cup and being successful? I mean, Hocevar came straight out of trucks. He didn't spend much time in the O'Reilly Series at all. Corey Heim didn't spend any time really in the O'Reilly Series, comes and he's super fast. Does that, as we talk free agency, does that move Layne Riggs up the list? Like, hey, these guys are coming straight out of the Truck Series, hauling ass in a Cup car. Let's just move him up the list higher than I don't know, you name it in the O'Reilly Series right now, whether it be Taylor Gray, Brent Cruz, one of those guys that's kind of been running half decent. Jesse Love, like, would Layne Riggs have been a better option for Ford, since he's already in a Ford stable, to put him in the 21 than Jesse Love? Because Jesse Love's performance has gone off the cliff since they announced him driving that 21 car.
That's a great point. It's hard to deny. You know, SVG sat on that chair and talked about how, in his opinion, running the year of O'Reilly's, besides seeing the racetracks and learning the nuances of a Richmond or a Vegas or wherever else that he was seeing for the first time, the O'Reilly car couldn't be more different with how much rear skew those guys trying to generate, with the tires, with the downforce balance, with how those cars race. A lot of fans want to idolize, oh, that's the best race, and that we're not talking about that. We're talking about just the vehicle dynamics of a truck versus and the aero similarities between a truck and a Cup car are very similar because you have to carry a lot of throttle time. There's not very good recovery, right? The wakes that a Cup car throws off are large. The wakes that a truck throws off are large. So you have to be more aggressive with positioning yourself in a more advantageous aero position in traffic. I think that's what Corey Heim does exceptional. I think that's what Carson Hocevar does well. And you watch Layne Riggs. You got to have a fast truck to be able to maneuver, of course, but guys that are more comfortable putting themselves in uncomfortable positions are the ones that do exceptionally well the higher up the list. And Layne Riggs, he's able to do that. Just watch him on the racetrack. He can do a lot and manipulate the truck kind of like just as good as a Corey Heim, in my opinion. So, and he's focused, he's driven, he's young. If I'm Jerry Freese or Bob Jenkins looking at between those two choices, I think I heard Jerry Freese, the general manager over there on SiriusXM, talking about they're trying to work through some things. They're wanting to have Noah back. Of course, that's going to be the PR conversation you're going to have. What it sounds like to me is they're waiting to see how much money is coming in the front door from Noah Gragson to see if they're going to make that decision, and that's just the way the business works. I hope Layne can get
a tough year, dude.
He's had a tough year. He's smashing guys under
Did
caution.
you see that little freak out he had yesterday?
Yeah. The 88 was moving out of his way, and he chased him down there to run in the back of him.
Well, so I think you have to rewind. I think the 88, aero blocked him, the whole run.
Yeah.
And then the 4 short pitted him. And then the 88 still beat him out. That's why when he come off the corner, he was mad. But I would be mad that he had to pedal that thing as bad as he did off the corner. He was
Yes.
bah, 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 bah. I'm like, that's your problem, not the 88.
It's not the 88's fault. You're not getting through the corner.
The throttle off of 2.
Yeah.
He was in and out of gas 4 times. Bah,
Yeah.
bah, bah, bah. I'm like, yeah, okay.
That's
you
not
can be mad
Connor's
at
fault.
anybody you want.
Right.
When you're running 33rd,
Nothing's good.
There's no sense in smashing into the guy in front of you. And if you're gonna do it, wreck him so it's at least a good clip.
Right.
Of
Not you don't lose 3 spots after you try to ship them into 3.
It was a tough look for young Noah Gragson the other day, and they've just been so slow all year, just no speed, nothing
and then
really
on
good
the
going for
contrary,
the 4 team.
Right? There's nothing worse being a teammate. Meanwhile, you're watching your teammate win $1 million, right? Win the in-season challenge.
He was slow too, but it worked out.
He was
for
slow
him.
too. It's the first time in NASCAR
guys,
history the guy runs 24th gets paid $1 million. But kudos to you, tip of the cap, Todd Gilliland and Chris Tic Tac. Come on with it. I hope slide Tic Tac a couple bucks. He deserves that.
Well, I know this. I love young Ryan Blaney. Love him to death. Won $1 million with him one time. I actually have the picture when we won the All-Star race of me holding $1 million check. I got a belt buckle. That's all.
That's it.
I didn't see a dime of that. Not even a.
He didn't even.
Hey, how you
he didn't even
doing?
go to he didn't buy a couple bays at Topgolf and let y'all go hack it up a little bit. Nothing.
I think it's. Listen, I'm not gonna hound my man, young Ryan Blaney, but I think it was well documented on Bussin' with the Boys when we won the championship that we didn't get a flying handshake. They're like, "What'd you get your boys?" They're talking about stock dividends and Apple and all this stuff that they got, and he was like, So I don't mean to hammer my man, but the gifts were not plentiful on that deal. For as bad as we got hammered on Twitter for so many years,
or on the radio,
help us back out, brother.
Yeah, cut us something. I mean, you see the offensive line for the Eagles. They get segways. I mean, they get TVs, golf bags, all sorts.
That's
of
what
stuff.
I said to those guys. I texted them. I said, I'm happy the 34 one, so I don't have to be pissed off about the 12 guys not getting anything
any
for
bumps.
winning $1 million.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. Drivers, compensate your offensive linemen, a.k.a. the guys who are going over the wall, jumping in front and sometimes on top of the windshields. There's some pit road boats and woes coming up right after this. All right, friends, before we break down the Brickyard, start to finish, Corey Heim among others, we have some pit road boats and woes. Several woes on pit road because we have a pit road that was designed for Indy cars under a green flag stop, not 35 guys coming in under a yellow flag condition here. First up, what do we got? Got the 23 car. Did you see this?
So, watching this, I was like, man, he just missed his pit stall.
No, he
'cause
got run in
was
the back
way
of.
far out.
The
and
21
he got
shipped
run in the
him in
back
there.
of, which happens there quite a bit. So he motors his guys. They kind of have to back up. My favorite part, though, of the whole clip, it's a bad clip. You get hit. It happens there a lot, especially when you're in the middle of pit road. The 21's looking at his lights, runs in the back of him. But my favorite part is the front-facing camera when the 2 car comes around and they're doing fuel only. and Lackey has to run like a country mile to plug the gas can in because Andrew Lackey, I was with him. I just know how he was about that because like that's like his Super Bowl, man. When he gets to do a fuel only, like you judge yourself by how quickly you get the can plugged in.
That was
And it was such
that
a
was
mess.
a 3-second plug. Engage.
Oh, I know. Count it. Keep it on there. So that's like the stuff when you're in film that you're like, what the hell was that, dude? Well, he stopped like this.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. So that those are the ones that, as a picker guy, when you're in the film review, dude, those are the fun ones that you're like, man, what the hell? Why'd it take so long to plug it in?
Man, and you can almost rewind all the way to the start of the weekend. You talk about execute. Everybody wants to talk about execute. What does that look like, right? It looks like, in regards to the defending Indy Brickyard 400 champ Bubba Wallace, not getting damage in practice, right? Then you have to fix it. Then you got to start in the back. Then you have to come in and it's damn near impossible to pass, so you're mired back in traffic. You've got to come around cars. So you can really boil it down to the microscopic execute in the moment, but when you really look at it, the issues that are present here halfway through the race on Sunday were made on Friday from mistake in practice. And that's where when you can always do something different to inhibit your bad luck, if you will. There's always something you could probably do in hindsight that doesn't put you in that position. So glad the Jackman on those two, on Jackman and the carrier there. You know those guys?
Yeah, that's Nathan Ricketts and JoJo Crossan. Brutal though for them. They're both veterans of the sport, but they, and Matt, my guy who works at the powder coat shop, he got hit the day before on Saturday by Ryan Ellis. But that was just like, he just like kind of missed his jump line and jumped off there haphazardly slow and just end up on the hood. I think he's just trying to get hit to get put on TV anymore. It's like the third time he's been hit this year. So Matt, get the hell out of the way, man. You got to be either mayonnaise or the mustard.
I bet you that car is on you before you even if you're late by a split second, I bet that thing's on you.
Not at Indy. Your jump line is the furthest away. Like a lot of times, like Richmond, right? Pit boxes are short and they're wide. Indy, they're long and they're narrow. I would literally on Saturday run out there and just stand still and wait for Chase to get to the pit stall, even though they're doing 60 miles an hour. Now we were down in pit stall 3, so the traffic was thinned out by the time we got down there. When you're, we saw Zach Price get hit. You were in the middle of that wreck a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen crashes on pit road, and there's a clip we're going to see next to the 24 getting hit. It is sketchy when you get in the middle or the back side of pit road towards turn 4. If I'm a crew chief, I'm trying to pick down towards turn 1 as fast as I can, especially when we saw that last pit sequence when the guys were taking 2 and 4 and the 60 just got buried because he was down there in like pit stall 30 something. He came out on 4 tires and everybody just cut him off on 2 just kept slowing him down.
It seems like Indy's the only pit road. No, I say only. Knock on wood, though. With the pit road speed, the length, the width of pit road between Gateway and here at Indy are one of the more treacherous pit roads on the circuit. I think I said this a couple years ago, and you might call it stupid, but here's my idea. If we're trying to make these pit crew guys, it's not a safe job, but if we can, in our power, incorporate something to make it a little bit less dangerous, what would you think about when the caution comes out? If you're in the top 18, you pit first time by. Lead lap or not? Well, obviously lead lap, you're pitting first time by. But if you're in the top 18 in lead lap, you're pitting first time by. 19th and down, you're pitting second time by.
Nah. They do it, right? The lead lap cars pit the first time, the lap down cars pit the second time.
Yeah, but there's 32 guys on lead lap.
If there's 30 cars on the lead lap and you blow a stop up, you deserve to be 30th, not 18th.
Fair enough.
So I don't want any. I'm less government, man. I don't want any more rules on any of that. Let us eat. We picked the job. We got helmets, speed limits, fireproof underwear, the whole 9. Wear a cup if you're scared. Get out there, pit the car. That's where I'm at with it.
As if you think you're going to get hit by a 55-mile-an-hour vehicle, wear a cup.
The guy who won $1 million about fucking killed me the other week. Old Todd Gilliland. He spun out right around us. That was closest I've been.
Second woe up. What do we got? Oh, boy. I see a body flailing.
I can't see it. I'm hearing Manus going.
I see a body flailing.
Is it 24?
We're having some trouble with links here currently. All I see is a body sprawled out over a right front headlight.
Oh, that might be Matt. We just talked about Matt.
I think moral of the story here, some guy getting flown in the air. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. He's got a jack held by two hands, and his body is parallel with the ground.
Yeah, so that's Matt. He works at the powder coat shop.
How's he feeling today?
I don't know. I got to call him. He's got to stop getting hit, man. It's not great for longevity.
It can't be good.
No.
So yeah, that was thing going. Let's shift gears here. What we got?
And then the last one is the 24 car. So the 24 car, Ryan Patton, who's a vet. He's been doing it a long time. The carrier has the sketchiest job, right? Because they drop one tire off, then they have to go around the jackman and hang the right rear.
And
so
he's
they're
way out in traffic.
Inherently the widest out there. And you're doing the body of your work out past the line. So his tire got clipped by SVG, but I think they were still second on the day on average, man. They
didn't even
the
phase
24 team's hitting on all cylinders right now.
Except for speed. This is the first time, I think it's 2 weeks in a no. It's like 3 or 4 weeks in a row where a Hendrick car hasn't finished in the top 10. Maybe 3 weeks in a row.
3 or 4.
That's tough
That's
stat.
tough. It's a tough stat. And the 5 car looked like they were gonna have a great day.
Yep.
But get wrecked. But I want to give them boys and the guys on pit road the pit boss of the week. But there was only one pit boss this week, buddy, and that's Booty.
Yeah.
Booty Barker. I mean, when you look at the strategy and what he was able to do, I think we talked about it earlier. I think that there's a gift in running part time, as well as it can be a curse. But when I was listening to Corey Heim's post race, they worried about Indy and their strategy and preparing for Indy.
Yes.
He had never been there before. Corey Heim had it. He said, I just worked on preparing and been working on this for a couple weeks.
He did the wheel force
They didn't
car.
have to worry about last week.
They kept saying, this is the first time you saw it on Friday. No, he drove the wheel force car. It's a big deal to see the track and have 2 days of messing around and playing with your throttle points and shaping your corners. Anyways, continue.
You've never seen this place.
Yeah, you've never seen the place except for a 3-day test 2 months ago. Other than that, it's the first time you saw it. But yes, Booty, my neighbor, dog.
But yeah, Booty, absolute stud. And then the team, right? Like their fueler, they had to execute. We talk about execution, what the execution looked like. You can really give that away. Like they sent him out the first car off of pit road. They did 2 there at the end, but Booty trusting his strategy. Those guys working on this race. Where did we race last week? Wilkesboro. They didn't have to worry about Wilkesboro, right? They didn't even look at that. They've been working on Indy for 2 or 3 weeks since they ran Chicago last.
Yep.
Like that's the gift of having. Like they have the strongest race cars. 2311 Toyota. They're the strongest right now. And then they're able to dial in exactly what they're going to do. So Booty didn't have to worry about strategy at Wilkesboro or strategy. He's been working on Indy.
And he's also not worried about strategy to try to get the best points day, try to minimize what your floor is.
Correct.
They only care about what
their
they're
ceiling.
ceiling. Yes.
They're only going there to win. We're going to step back and punt. We know we can do this. And it was the same thing at Coronado, right? They just worked on that. And we look back with Project 91 with SVG, right? They worked on testing and all that stuff just for that race, backwards pit stops for weeks because they went there just to win that race. So when you have competent people, really great people, and one thing I love is a guy that kind of loses his job like a Booty Barker, like, hey, man, or like Eddie DeHunt, who's spotting for him, like, hey, we don't need you anymore. And they come and back and win crown jewel races like this. I love that for them and that whole group and the young guys on the pit crew. So Booty Barker, our pit boss of the week. Hot stop of the week went to the 16 team out of Colleague, your teammates. Since Jordan Page has gone over there, the Jackman, they've been really hitting on all cylinders, and they've been able to do some great stuff. So shout out to the 16 boys.
Is that a Trackhouse Devo crew?
It's a Trackhouse farm crew.
Okay.
I don't know that they're Devo guys anymore. I don't know if I like that word anymore.
Just Trackhouse farmed out pit crew guys.
Yeah, that's the farm team. It's
Yeah.
a double A.
That's right. No, I mean they aren't the double. Those guys are the big boys.
No, they're doing it. So shout out to the 16 team, and yeah, much needed week off after the tightest pit road and everybody getting run over this past week.
That's right. Much needed week off for everybody, but I want to talk about burnouts on the bricks, burnouts in general. A lot of people fired up about that on Saturday. We're going to talk about the Brickyard 400 and Carson Kvapil's O'Reilly Series burnout coming up right after this. All right, fair or foul? Burnout on the bricks.
Foul.
Foul.
Can't do it, man. You can't do it. Listen, it's
Hang on. Just like everybody knows you can't do a burnout on the bricks, but why? What is the reasoning behind not being able to put rubber on the bricks?
I don't know. I mean, they're from 1909.
Oh,
shit,
yeah,
dude.
they say and they're right. Like bricks, as the bricks we have a Brickyard 400 that Ryan got me. He dug through the stream like Mamba was during the broadcast and come home with several bricks, one of which made its way. We bricked up this window here and we put the brick in the studio. So I don't know if you guys can see that or
I
not.
got a way better spot than where Mamba was. There's a way better spot, but I ain't giving it up.
You can't give up the honey hole. We got to go back there and pave my driveway with Brickyard bricks. But when they clean the bricks with the rubber on it, it knocks off, right? It deteriorates the bricks. And you saw the video of there was 10 people over there with toothbrushes and water and simple green or whatever else to keep the yard of bricks looking prestige. So Dale was particularly apologetic about it. I saw a couple tweets out of him, a couple interviews. Yep, we're sorry.
He knows the deal. Like he understands. He's like Denny, right? He probably even more so. He understands the full picture, and he does not like making people mad. I don't think so. Like he knows he's gonna get a phone call, like someone pissed off.
Yeah.
But who didn't see the full picture there was Carson Kvapil, right? Like he had just won his first O'Reilly race. Look, let's be honest. He doesn't have a ride for next year.
Yeah.
He's racing for his life. He doesn't know what he's going to do. And he's watched his teammates win. Justin Allgaier wins 6 races. Those Junior Motorsports car wins races every week. He passes Ross Chastain.
Were they the
to
top
win the
4?
race. What?
Were they Junior Motorsports cars top 4?
Top 4, yeah. We finished 4th with the 88. We had to go to the back, and then we had a tough pit stop, but we executed at the end. Just didn't have enough track position to get there. That's another race where, like, that race was short, and the strategy was blah, and you just kind of ran where you ran.
Yeah.
But did you see how emotional Dale was after that? He was like crying. He was so happy.
He's put a lot of time and effort, not only into developing both Kvapils. It was a massive day to be Travis Kvapil or Kvapil, with Carson winning it at the Brickyard, and then his younger brother Caden winning the Hampton Heat, one of the biggest. It's one of the what they call a crown jewel late model stock races in one of
the
Dale's
Virginia
car.
Triple Crown.
That's right. So it'd be the Triple Crown of late model stock car racing is the South Boston 200,
the Harley Davidson 150, the Hampton
South
Heat,
Boston, Hampton Heat, and then Martinsville. So Caden Honeycutt won the first one, South Boston. Caden Honeycutt or Caden Kvapil. There's a lot of Cadens and Carsons and whatnot. And then TBD on Martinsville. That's a really cool late model stock race to see. But yes, Dale has put a lot of effort. You see Jerky Boys on the side of the late model stock that Caden drives, and there's a lot of work behind the scenes that goes into selling a Bass Pro, right? There's also a very interesting funder of Carson's career that I'm not going to talk about on the show, linked to Travis Kvapil based off of his previous driving relationships that I think some other podcasts that like to break news has hinted at previously. But
but that's over. I don't think that they are backing him anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is why he's part-time? Probably.
It might be.
Takes money.
Right? Like I so here's the thing. Without saying, blah, blah, blah. I don't know that they have set in stone, and this time of year it's getting late. And I don't know this, right? Yeah, I changed tires for Junior Motorsports. I don't know anything about the business side. but I do know that it seems as though he's racing for his life, and Dale was really emotional about it. And it's a really hard spot to be in this time of year when you don't really know what's coming, and you got to keep the doors open. And so hopefully this win sparks something for Carson, because I think Carson is really good. I think he's a really good short track guy that's made it to this level, and I hope that it gets him some runway.
Here's the situation. You've got to find $3.5 to $5 million to be a full-time Xfinity driver, or O'Reilly driver. That's just what it is, man. Whether the team goes out and finds it for you, which is a very unique case, and it seems like JRM's been willing to go connect the dots to take care of their guys, right? Carson is one of Junior's guys. He'll go stick his neck out and go do some commercials and do this and that. It's $3 to $5 million to go ride around in that caliber car all year, and that is not a small amount of money. That's why you see a lot of new faces, new places, swapping rides each and every year. You know, Parker Retzlaff's a guy that we look at that everybody kind of acknowledges, seems to be, that which they should. Hey, he's got some ability behind the wheel. Anthony Alfredo, same thing. Those guys don't have a job if they can't put together a significant amount of sponsorship. So that's the challenging part of that business model, and that's what we'll be interested to see. Hopefully they can connect the dots, and maybe that helps, you know, a Wild Protein Chips or whatever brand was on his car to get, you know, a little bit more into the bucket, to get him a couple more races, to piece that deal together, because that's what the game that those guys have to play is right now.
So Corey Heim did not do a burnout on the bricks, so that was good.
Yep, that was good.
He talked a lot about not, skipping O'Reilly's, and that was his plan, just to being the best cars that he could be, and that, he knows it's not.
I don't think it's talked about enough.
It's not.
Jimmie Johnson alluded to it actually in the post-race show, that Corey's had multiple opportunities to go full-time Cup racing prior to this 2311, and he has essentially sat on the sidelines and ran trucks for 2 years as opposed to go get Cup experience, because he knew that it was more important to drive the right car with the right group than it was to just garner experience. Not many people get that choice to make, right? He's earned that.
Well, that's great
choice
foresight, right?
That's right.
And shout out to Toyota for doing that for him.
So to wait it out, right? You got Riley Herbst kind of getting that third team going at 2311, him going wherever he's going next year. Seems like he's going to Legacy. Seems like everybody knows that.
Did they not announce that yet?
I
thought they announced that.
I don't know.
No.
So that takes Jimmie called it discipline, right? It's discipline to be willing to work behind the scenes, waiting for your opportunity, and boy, was he ever ready. Come out of the gate winning on 2 times on a part-time schedule is unheard of. Last time to do it, do you know who the last guy to do it on a part-time schedule was? Davey Allison.
Races?
Davey Allison ran 22 out of 28 races. I don't know if he was injured as to why he wasn't full-time, but that was the NASCAR Insight stat that I saw. What about we talk about Carson Hocevar again, as Corey Heim mentioned in the post-race broadcast. He's like, man, you media guys sure like to talk about the guy that runs ninth. Spicy take.
Dude, they couldn't be more different. Like Carson, edgy, cool, Corey Heim, super fast,
dry,
a little bit cookie, a little bit vanilla for me.
Yeah.
But you could be I do like the get out.
That's cool celebration.
But I like the shade he throws at him. Like I love the opportunity that Carson presents to him to be a dickbag.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because without Carson, Corey doesn't get to say, yeah, I handed him an L, right? Like Carson's the instigator of that. And I'm excited that the Spire cars are so fast and that they're able to race, right? Because I had a conversation with a buddy this week and he's like, Noah Gregson walked so Carson could run. And I'm like, Noah and Carson are not even close to the same, other than that Noah's a goofball. Carson has the speed to act like that. And it's just so much different. The way Carson is doing it is calculated. He's doing it on purpose. He's not just being a goofball by accident. He's calculated with what he says. He's building a fan base. He's selling T-shirts. He's doing all that stuff. Noah, that's just who Noah is. He's just a goofball.
Yes.
But with Carson, with his personality, opens up the opportunity for the other drivers. i.e. Corey Heim, who is vanilla. He's vanilla
To
wafer
show some personality.
by
Yeah.
brand, right?
Yeah.
It allows to see his personality because Noah opens that door. So
Well,
good
and hey,
for everybody.
look, when he came in, right, teammate was with me, he was the guy that he was the Russ Wheeler, right? He's the guy. Everybody else is the old Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin. These guys don't like him. Ross Chastain, which ironically Ross was that guy when he got a shot in a fast car. Where Corey Heim has went up the ladder with him. They're relatively the same age. Corey Heim is a little bit older, maybe 6-8 months. And so Corey Heim has had Carson's number for years, right? That like Carson knows, like, hey, I've never raced around these guys previously, so this is all new, and I'm up here dicing fenders up with Denny. I'm, this Blaney. Like I've never raced against these guys until the Cup Series. He's raced against Carson or against Corey Heim for 5, 6, 7 years in the Truck Series and even before that. So, hey, as they say on the interweb, this beef is going to feed generations. And I love it so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. We've got some memes coming up, some of our favorite social media reactions off some wild clips on the interweb. But let's land this bird for those who are listening on audio. What do we think? We've got. You heard my case on what number Alex Bowman should be for the Daytona 500. What is your pick? Comment on our YouTube channel below. What do you think his number should be?
I was sold out on the 25, but you have sold me on the 46
right.
green,
Bet.
yellow City
right.
Chevrolet.
Bet. And what are 3 NASCAR races that should never be shortened? Daytona 500, Southern 500, Coke 600. Everything else up for discussion. My discussion would be add some miles to some races just for the hell of it. All right, YouTube listeners and viewers, appreciate you guys riding it out here with us as our weekly wild clip reaction here. First thing, I don't even know what this is. It looks like a velodrome in the 20s. What is this? What we got?
In the 30s. This was
30s.
This was in Jersey, actually.
What?
But board tracks were a thing. Like, we were watching all the velodrome stuff.
Well, that was the first
board
Charlotte
tracks were
track,
a
too.
thing all over. Yeah, Charlotte, they had them everywhere. New Jersey was a really big
Oh, my God.
midget country. I think that driving these was dangerous. I think being a spectator was more dangerous.
At least if you're driving, you're somewhat in control. If you're sitting in the third row of the grandstands and a car sits on your lap, dude, that guy.
What's really cool about that, Corey, is that those races there are what paved the way.
Bro, what?
Yeah.
Laying on the left rear tire.
But those races there 100 years ago, right? They went from doing them, and then it was too cold outside in the winter, so they did them indoors. And that's where the midget racing that I do now stem from. And then you talk to guys like whose dads did that or grandfathers did that still are around. And it's really cool to learn about that and just how, so far away, but really that is what laid the foundation for what we do now 100 years ago.
Pretty cool. You guys from Jersey just wilding out.
Doing it. Oh, did you see this next one?
No. I mean, I saw that Denny was on Sunday Conversation.
There's no super fatso drivers. Why aren't there no fatsos out there?
Maybe they just can't fit in the car. I don't know.
I did the simulator out there before, and it was a tight squeeze on the seat, I will say.
You think Glenny Balls could potentially be a NASCAR driver?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Really?
Why not?
I don't think he has the skills or the stamina.
I don't have the stamina to sit in a car for 4 hours.
See, that's what people think.
Why do they think that? Because that's what it is?
Theoretically, but it's in reality. No normal person could sustain the heat, the G-forces, just couldn't do it.
What does it feel like to have G-forces going against your body?
Probably like Glenny Balls sitting on my stomach.
Bananas, man.
They didn't really ask him any hard-hitting questions.
No.
But they did. They were like, who's your favorite driver? And Glenny Balls was like, I like Logano. He's like, I like the Italian name. And I like Keselowski. And Denny's face was like, what? And then Glenny Balls was like, wait, do you not like Joey Logano? And he's like, they're like, who do you not like? He's like, well, I probably don't like Joe Logano and Brad Keselowski. He's like, those are my two favorites. You didn't like them, right? So like he was like, oh, I didn't even know, and they gave Denny. He said we're gonna do a new segment sponsored by NASCAR, where you look at that camera and apologize to Joe Logano, and he wouldn't do it.
No, of course he didn't do that. All right, next one up. It's hard to even tell what's photoshopped anymore and what's real life. Here we have a screenshot of what is a fake interaction between Connor Zilic and Jesse Love. Connor Zilic says, I'm really in a bad place right now, like mentally or quote unquote, from Jesse Love Jr. And then Connor says, no, I'm in the Trackhouse racing number 88. That's tough. That didn't happen, for the record.
It's fake.
Yeah, it's fake.
It looks real, but it's fake.
Yes, it's fake.
What about this SVG clip is the next one?
Well, I can't see it yet. Controller disconnected. Yes, Dale Jr. was all over this. Because, for the record, people want to give Dale all the credit for manhandling the car with no steering wheel. If there's one track on the schedule where you could grab onto the steering coupler with a hand and it not yank it out of your hand, it's Talladega. Because they don't have any caster split. If anything, actually, the cars are built with positive caster split, so it pulls to the right, so the banking of the racetrack doesn't bog down the power steering pump. So when Dale took the wheel off, it wasn't trying to yank it very hard to the left. When you go to any other racetrack on the schedule, particularly Indy, where they have a lot of caster split, and a next-gen car with wider tires, that thing's yanking to the left in a hurry.
It gives me nightmare fuel because if you look at his steering wheel, he's got two marks on it, like a red. If you look, he's got a yellow mark and a red mark.
Yeah.
Well, those marks are for the pit stop because the Cup cars, the tires are really far inside the front wheel well. And it's like you have I don't know, an 1/8 inch to pull the tire out. So those wheel marks are where he turns it. So if he puts it on a different spoke, it throws it way off, and then you can't get the tire off, and then they just tell you suck because you can't pull the tire. Not that the wheel's off. So I don't know why he's resetting his wheel anyway, because that should all be checked and done by the time you get to that spot.
Wasn't that
Wasn't
that during the stage break? Like he ran the whole first stage with it, and it was annoying him enough to where he's gonna. So he does it, puts it back on, and then he goes and grabs another one. Oh, dude, I can't imagine. That gives me anxiety just watching it.
Oh. Well, that's like one of those ones where you stand on the brake and then it's
chugging, and then it goes.
Out on the club,
it goes even more.
Yeah. Oh,
man,
brutal.
I mean, yeah. So Dale Jr. he said, "Hey, put her in a vice grip," because that was the joke. That Dale Jr. had this deathly strong grip because he was able to grab the coupler at Talladega, and it not really yanked too hard. This is after. So Dale Jr. had wrecked at Talladega. They went behind the wall. They fixed it. They came back out, and his wheel wasn't on all the way. Pop turned off. He grabbed it. Put it back on, because Talladega, they had the least amount of caster split as any racetrack on the schedule. So Talladega would be the easiest to grab onto. Indy, not easy. SVG, keep the wheel on a race car, please. Jesus. And here we go. This is what we were talking about earlier in the show, the 4 and the 88. Like you were mentioning, he's in the bop, 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 trying to get the thing to finish the corner. And here's the 88 blending down the backstretch. The 88 kind of shades. He was trying to get a sniff of the 2, and then he pulls back out of the way. I don't think he was blocking him there. I think if the 4 stays right, he could have drove by. Can you see that?
Yeah, I'm watching it. Like he's mad. I don't know. That was just having a tough year, man. Him and Grant can't get that 4 car to run. They run in the 30s every week.
It's not fun for anybody.
That's what
one
happened.
bad week turns into another bad week.
I've heard more clips out of him of just fucking freaking out on the radio.
Yeah. Easy to do.
Else, so.
And then he's taking his frustration out in the 88's front tires, which if you are gonna hurt somebody's day, that left front corner and left front tire is certainly important.
The best was the 88 spotters. Like, just don't play as. Like, I'm not doing anything. He's just running into me.
Yeah.
I'm not playing any games.
I'm not playing
I can't
any games.
do anything.
He keeps smashing the back of me. What else we got here? All right, fired up next. We got another velodrome. Dude, this track is sick. Old Indy cars.
Oh, that is an actual velodrome.
Yeah.
We're just in the banked racetracks here, man. That's what we're into on this channel and these memes.
Yeah, these look like super expensive F1 cars back in the day, just riding around.
This doesn't look. Is it this one that you're watching?
I'm watching the one where it's a
This
shot down
looks
the front
new.
straightaway.
This looks like it's now.
I don't whatever this is. This needs to be a thing.
I want to do it. Like I want to go run it. Would you? You think you run the fence?
Yeah, because there's less of a transition between height. Like Bristol, right? Like the load down the hill would upset the car. You want to just keep that thing nice and flat. That's sick. Where is that?
Sick.
What does it say in the caption?
Looks like it's in London.
They got some cool stuff. There you go. Yeah. All right. Okay.
So cool.
These guys are pretty close to the wall too, actually.
They are. That's an expensive wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
All right, hang on. Don't get ahead of us. What are we doing here? What do you want?
I'm ahead of you.
Yeah.
I'm cheating.
Dumbo? Let's fire up Dumbo. All right, here we go. Okay. So we got an onboard camera here. This guy doesn't have a radio clearly plugged in because it's Velcro to the top of his helmet. Okay, let's assume this is the same thing. So this is the same cars, but an in-car camera of that track. That is sick, dude.
It's sick. It looks like it reminds me of
Salem,
the little 500.
Yeah, but
what's that? They just had the red bud there too. Anderson.
Yeah.
That's
you
what it
could, dude.
reminds
You
me of.
could catch. You can catch a left front to a right rear wheel there and go flying.
Oh yeah. See ya.
That's sick, dude. Where is that? It says Dumbo. Where's Dumbo? Germany?
No, Dumbo's the next clip.
Indianapolis in Oerlikon. Oerlikon? Oerlikon.
You're doing a great job.
Oerlikon. Oerlikon. Let's see.
You're doing a great job.
Oerlikon.
All right, go to the Dumbo one. It's giving me anxiety.
Yep, Dumbo. Here, what do we got? I assume it's an elephant. Oh, dude. That's a big animal, bro. What?
Dude, that's nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen 1923 where the
is
elephant...
it picking it up? Is this
Oh,
AI?
yeah.
Is this AI? This is AI.
No,
This
I
is
don't think
AI.
it's-
Gotta be.
I don't think so.
That's what this segment needs to be. Is this AI or is this real? Because that's AI, bro.
That elephant
That's
is
AI.
mad. No.
Yes, it is.
Nope. Basically, Africa saw the buffalo clip of that old
Yeah,
man
we'll
last week. And they
raise
said,
you
hold
one
my
elephant.
beer.
Our Dumbo, we got Dumbo Part 2.
All right. I'm trying to keep up with you guys while I'm here at my house. I'm doing this on the phone. Dude, that's real.
That is real.
Dumbo got mad.
What? Dude, get out of
Holy
there.
Carissa asked me yesterday, would you ever go on a safari? And I'm like, reluctantly, I would do it.
What? Dude,
Would you go on an African safari?
If I can be guaranteed that experience, I'd go. That's staring
that's the
death
one
at
you
the
want?
face. Yeah, I'd rather that than look across a half mile away. It's like, oh, look, I think that's an elephant. No, give me the elephant with its horns in the radiator of this trolley truck.
Oh, yeah. Okay, give me a gun, too. So
Yeah,
when
give me a
thing gets
gun.
flipped over and I have to spend the night out there in the trees hiding from
That's true.
fucking
From lions and
Mufasa, I have an
tigers.
opportunity.
To defend myself.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got here?
What'd you bring out for lunch to the oil field, bud?
KFC, boy.
KFC from fucking last week?
Party Loomis, what did you bring for lunch?
Cold can
Oh
of
my.
spaghetti? What did you bring for lunch, buddy?
The dart and the Gatorade.
Yes.
What did you bring for lunch there, bud?
A fucking monster and a fucking pack of darts there, bud. That's all you need at the rigs.
You ever seen...
That's like a dirt race. That's literally that's like a Lucas Oil dirt late model team.
You ever seen Blake Bortles when they were interviewing him and they were like, if you weren't playing football, what would you be doing? He's like, probably working days with the boys.
Yeah, that's what it is, dude.
That's it. That's the boys.
I got this
right
drumstick from a KFC bucket from 3 days ago and a dart.
You know what those guys aren't doing? Like antidepressants. That's what they're not doing.
Those guys aren't doing any sort of medication besides
I saw it
nicotine.
the other day. Yeah,
oh!
They're happier than all of us.
Oh, dude, you got to pull up the next clip.
Me. You're
what
probably
is it?
wondering how I ended up in this situation.
I did this to my dad. With an RC car. Oh, yeah, wiped him out. He was so pissed. Oh, my.
When did you do it to him?
Oh, I was probably 8.
That's an Achilles.
Yeah.
Dude, his calf is smoked. Oh, he went down like a sack of potatoes, too.
That's what you get for playing with toys as an adult.
It wiped him out. Yeah. Those low C cup cars are going fast enough to snatch an ankle. I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, last one here.
But they're going to get green flag, and we are racing. Oh, big move.
Dude, this
big
looks
mover
like my
there.
dream.
The 76 of Jared
Is that it?
Pearson.
Is it the dirt go-karts that you're on?
No.
As everyone tended to go wide into turn
I
one
would be
there,
just
he
fine. Living my life.
ate up the position
Working
that came
construction,
towards him.
drinking monsters, ripping cigs, and racing these things on the weekend.
Battle for the front runners
That
now.
is sick.
That is sick.
Dirt road course. These
It
guys are
is slick out
covered.
there at the moment for these
in mud.
outlaw karts. It's
These things
That
got
looks
some
like
pep,
so much
dude.
fun.
From Walton second and Francis in third at the moment.
That's what we need
Yeah.
in
But
Mooresville
it
next to
looks
GoPro
like
Motorplex. We need to open a
Willen's
dirt
dropped.
one.
Dude, these things are fast, too.
Down into third.
Where is all this fun stuff? Like, where is that? Why is that not right here in race country?
Yeah, where is that?
Numbers.
Alice Springs Karting Club. Where's
So
that
now
at?
Walton in first.
Probably New
Darren Denny
Zealand.
in
That's where all them
second,
crazy
I know.
bastards
Yeah,
are.
and that's why they're
third.
so good, because they're sitting there
One of our
doing
competitors sitting
this.
off in the dog leg as well there. So
just sliding the
I'm
cart
looking it up.
around, driving a 2-stroke, run all over each other. Go
I
karts
feel like
with
I
a
want
wing
to
on it.
move to New Zealand. Alice Springs Karting Club.
Where's it at, dude?
Arunga Park Speedway.
It sounds
Australia.
like it sounds like
Crazy enough.
some sprint car
Australia.
place that Kyle Larson runs in January.
Yeah. Yep, it's in Australia.
Those are like special carts though. Oh, those are 2 strokes, big pipes on them. Dude, that looks so. Hey, paging V8 Supercars.
It's right in
when
the
we
middle,
come
like
out
in the
there,
outback
you got
of
to take us to
Australia.
it. We literally
Yeah,
could
it's
do a 2-week Australian vacation and see
Thinking
all
about
the
doing
sights.
a 2-year Australian vacation.
I know, just get a visa. They didn't have visas. How's that work?
Go sell cars for George.
All right, let's land this bird. We got stuff to do, people to be, places to see. Have a great week.
Go get him.
No, you go get them, Tiger. You go get them too. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Have a great day. Keep stacking pennies. Goodbye.